like to call the meeting of the Pleasant Valley Planning Board to order. I'll make a note that tonight, due to absences, both Michael Kozak and Suzanne Horn will be seated as regular members and voting members of the board. The first item on the agenda tonight is a public hearing for Michael Schroeder, the multifamily on South Avenue. And you can just go ahead and sort of say where it stands right now. I do have comments both from, primarily from the attorney, but also from Greg Bollner, engineer, who is not going to be here. I do know from our attorney, I was told that the 30 days for lead agency has not passed. So we will open the public hearing tonight. We'll adjourn it to the meeting in September, so you don't have to circulate again. And then there are a number of items that they want to see addressed before then as well. So.
I got a few emails today. But we can take care of that.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Stephen Burns. I represent the applicants at 90 South Avenue. The proposal is to construct a 4-unit, 8-bedroom building with 12 parking spots, one of them being handicap, that's serviced by an individual well and an on-site sewage disposal. The entrance to South Avenue will be approved by Dutchess County Department of Public Works, as will the sewage disposal, and the water supply will be approved ultimately by the Dutchess County Department of Health. What we've done is we've sited the building so that we have an entrance driveway, which is I believe 7.5%, up to the parking spots. The developed area will drain to a infiltration swale that's located at the front of the property. That will allow for the stormwater runoff to soak into the ground, but also bleed through the berm through a riprap area cut out of the berm at the request of the Department of Public Works. The roadside will be improved a little bit with some clearing for site distance to the north out of the driveway. With that clearing, the drainage ditch along the side of the road will also be approved. There's proposed to be some Norway spruces along the road, and some associated landscaping in front of the building. That pretty much sums everything up.
Okay. Before I ask the board for comments, I'd just like to review the comments from Greg Bollner, who is not here tonight. Sorry, I have to pull this back up. Greg said that the SWIP needs to be resubmitted. You may have had this in emails
Yes.
before. And that he will review the site plan again once he has the modified SWIP. And that's basically what he is asking for in his email. Also comments from the attorney. I've already noted that the lead agency period had not passed, so we'll open the public hearing and then adjourn it to September. Also, the 239M, they had no substantive comments, but they do want the complete streets application. So you'll need to put that in. And then have you received the comments from the Fire, Life, Safety, and Advisory Board?
Yes, there's actually a little bit of discrepancy there because back in November, they reviewed everything and they said that they have no comments, no further comments, that all their comments had been addressed. I can
Okay.
provide you with those minutes. I don't have them, I didn't actually bring those with me, but I read
Okay.
them over today.
I can just go through them in case members of the board have not seen them yet either, and since we're opening it to a public hearing, their comments from the April meeting are that they feel the dumpster was too close, that's been addressed. The access to one side of the building is addressed. I guess all these from April 24 have been addressed. See if there's anything else. From August 6th, the concerns I see are the septic system has not changed. They feel it's still running above grade in the elevation. That's really something for our engineer to address, so.
That's something that will be addressed by the Dutchess County Department of Health.
Right, and also it looks like a SWIP comment about runoff and water retention. So, are there any comments from the board before we open the public hearing on this application?
I'd just like to ask, how much of on the road frontage, how much are you gonna pull that back for sight distance?
Not really too much. It's just a matter of taking that steep slope that's
Right.
there and softening it out. So it'll become probably more like a 1-on-3 slope as opposed to what it is now.
Because you need what, like over 400 feet for you to,
That's what it has.
okay,
What happens is that sight distance is measured at a point that is 12 feet from the edge of the lane. At typically a height of 42 inches above the ground, and you look to where you would spot a vehicle, and you can see clearly all the way up to Route 44, the intersection with Route 44, to the north, and to the south you can see something like 800 feet. You could pretty much see down to Absolute Auctions.
right, okay, okay.
The actual numbers are 410 feet and 825.
Over 10.
And the clearing is mainly when the brush is growing and the roadside was unkept at first, and it's been properly maintained by the county within the last few months to where they reestablished the roadside ditch, and they've been keeping it mowed. So the site distance is actually been improved already.
But they're gonna do something with the ditch in there to convey the water, stormwater?
The Department of Public Works is a right with the ditch that is existing there. They actually came and recently dug it out. Not, it's not much, but it's enough there's a very small drainage area that goes to that section of ditch. The driveway is actually located at the crest of a hill. So any drainage that comes out of the driveway is gonna be diverted into a swale on the north side of the driveway entrance, which contributes to the roadside ditch, and the Department of Public Works is acceptable to that.
Have you submitted the plans to,
The plans have been submitted to the Department of Public Works. I think we had to widen up the driveway. We might have had to widen up the driveway. The driveway is now 24 feet wide. We had to do a slight, the Dutchess County updated their standards in January of this year. They accepted a new standard with a new detail that was a very generic detail, And what happens is that it's up to the engineer in charge at the county as to what we actually have to meet of that standard. What they've told us is that we need to have a slight downslope off of the road, I believe 6 feet, 6 feet off of the road or off of the white line. Then there's a 3.5% grade for the first 30 feet, and then we actually go to a 7.5%. But that's all been reviewed by the highway department, and they have said they're all right with that profile. They were also the ones that requested that we add a swale to catch the runoff from the driveway that will contribute to the roadside ditch. All those numbers are also, the Department of Public Works also will review the stormwater pollution prevention plan with all the drainage calculations
Right.
as part of their review.
Yep. Yep.
Any further comments from the board? Hearing no further comments, I will make a motion to open the public hearing for the Michael Schroeder multifamily application. Do I have a second? Second from Priya, all in favor? Great. Would anyone like to speak to the application? Please come to the microphone, thank you.
Hi, I'm Donna Cookless. I live at and I own the property at 96 South Avenue, which is the property right north of 90 South Avenue. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. While I appreciate Mr. Schroeder's intent to make a profit on his investment, I am vehemently opposed to him building a massive apartment building on a property that is right here in town and only about a half an acre larger than my single family home property right to the north of it. Building a 4-unit, 2-bedroom complex will mean his intent is that 4 families will live there. That size alone does not match the small town vibe you have tried hard to foster here in Pleasant Valley. It will also mean for residents nearby 4 times the amount of noise pollution and activity. And I heard him talk about how he's gonna clear to the north of his property. That means we're just gonna see everything. It will mean for the street of South Avenue 4 times the normal single family homes amount of cars entering and exiting the road right near the traffic light on 44. He alone just said that he's gonna have 12 cars available to park there. This spot of the road is very severely congested if you've ever been on South Avenue with the light. This will dramatically decrease the safety of all residents living on the street and even school buses that need to stop to pick up and drop off students, as 4 times more cars will be pulling out and turning into their driveway right before the light. However, honestly, the main reason I am opposed, and my whole family is opposed, to this oversized building complex is because of the negative effect it will have on my family. Our enjoyment outside of our home will be impacted by the commotion of 4 families mere feet away from us. I noticed that he does not show the properties around this property, our enjoyment will be affected, but even more threatening to us is the devaluing of our property due to Mr. Schroeder's massive building project. We have lived in our home here in Pleasant Valley since 2002. We raised both of our boys here, and they have attended only Arlington schools. We have invested a lot of time and money into our home and into our community. This apartment building will not only depreciate the value of our property and those surrounding it, but will almost certainly lead to flooding of 1/3 of our property. They talk about doing swells and things to stop the water running off into the road. Well, what about the water running onto our property? There is a 1/4 acre that we have, and it will become completely unusable. And the reason I'm basing that is even with the very simple removal of most of the trees on Mr. Schroeder's property and moving some earth around to level it. He didn't do a whole lot. He just moved some earth around. He removed most of the trees. We have seen a significant rise in the amount of water draining on our back 1/4 of an acre. And so we fear the repercussions to our land. And since Mr. Schroeder's massive apartment design will inevitably drain all the water, like he has the drains in the front, well, what about all the water that just naturally comes off the mountain? It's gonna go onto his property, and of course, they're gonna drain it away from his property, and it's gonna go to the sides to the land on the sides that's lower than his property, and that's mine and also on the other side to the south. So I plead with you to take all this into consideration. This building project is not right for the property that's located at 90 South Avenue. Please do not approve it. Thank you again for allowing me to speak.
Thank you for coming. Would anyone else like to speak to this application?
Hi, my name's Darlene Yurden, and I live at 60 South Avenue, south of this. I have similar concerns about such a apartment unit on our street, which is all single-family houses. But I'm also concerned about water from the standpoint of drainage water and also well water. Has anything been done to investigate as far as the water table and how deep they will have to go? Because we have had water issues on the street with regards to wells and stuff. And a 4-unit on only an acre like that can raise some issues with regards to the water in the water table. So, and just to clarify, we can come back in September with more questions as a public hearing?
Yes, it will still be open.
Okay, thank you.
Just a question for you. Water issues in terms of wells going dry or being,
Well, just,
or not potable water?
well, not, a lot of potassium
Okay.
and sulfur and various chemicals from that perspective. And we have had some water issues with our well and had to have a new system pumped out and stuff. Not deeper, but just the well replaced, or the pump replaced because of contamination. And I don't know about the properties next door, you know, if they've had issues or not. And also the water onto the street, because you addressed the drainage from the driveway, but that's a big parking area too, and is that gonna drain in the back and onto your property? So, those are some concerns I'm highlighting.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak?
Oh, I would like to say something. It would be really helpful to see some additional landscaping other than the 7 trees that are lining South Road. I can appreciate your neighbors' concerns, your neighbors to the north, and this is going to be a large building, so I think it would be, neighborly to at least look into doing some landscaping on the side of the property to screen your building from the neighbors.
I agree, and the comment I was going to make to you is that this structure is allowed by right under zoning. So this board does not have the right to say you can't do that because it's allowed by our zoning. And so all we can do is to make sure that we mitigate as much as possible the effects on neighbors. But we can't restrict them to a single-family home because it is zoned for multifamily under the Pleasant Valley Code. So the board can look at mitigation for neighbors. No development should ever cause runoff onto neighboring properties. And so we will ask the engineers to look at that very carefully and make sure there is no runoff on your properties. The other thing I think we'll ask the applicant to look at, the people have spoken tonight and how this might affect their property, and see what sort of screening you could do and landscaping so that they will not have the intrusion. Because I do understand your concerns when you're in a single-family neighborhood. I think the idea was that Pleasant Valley, in the center of it, they were trying to make it more multifamily, but it does affect a single-family neighborhood to have a development of that size. So this board will do the best we can, and we'll look at, we'll ask the applicant to come back next month with the screening proposal for your property, the properties on either side, and then that's something that you'll be able to look at if you come back to the public hearing that will be adjourned till next month. Any other comments from the board? All right, then what's our meeting date next? September 10th. All right, so I will make a motion that we adjourn the public hearing till the next meeting of the Pleasant Valley Planning Board, which is September 10th, at 6:30 here at the Town Hall. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Great.
I'd just like to offer a few things that, first off, we can work on putting some screening along the north property line, but in, portions of the south property line. But if you look at the grading plan, you'll see that we're actually lowering the building into the ground a little bit, so it's actually gonna be lower than the property to the north.
Okay.
Just, where the building siting is, where the parking lot sited and everything, so none of that runoff is gonna even be possible to get onto that property from.
I think what's helpful if, and we'll wait till next month because we'd like to see your landscaping plan as well, but I think that next month, if what we've done in the past is allow people to come up and see the plans, we'll put them on the table and you can point out to them where the drainage is intended to go and how it will be graded in order to keep any runoff from their property.
Okay.
And I think that's helpful. And also, we'll allow people to come up and see the landscaping plan for that. And I think if you look at your neighbors, knowing that what we'd like to see is some trees that will grow up and some landscaping that's attractive and will mitigate the impacts of having a large structure that's multifamily right in their neighborhood.
Okay.
Great.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When was it approved that a multifamily unit is allowable?
It is in the 2009 code. Whether or not it was before the 2009 code, I'd have to go back, or someone would have to go back and look but it was part of the recodification that was approved by the town board in 2009. I don't believe it's changed since then.
Clarification on that, is that for the whole South Avenue? Is
I don't know, I'd have to look at where it's, I think it's more right in the center toward 44, but I would have to look at the zoning code, or you're welcome to go into the office and ask them, they could show you where the zoning district exists.
It's the HR zoning district.
Yes. It's sort of concentrated around 44.
It's on the wall, Rutgers, right behind this wall.
Sorry, did you want us?
Yes, I'm at 96 South Avenue. Our septic is in the front.
Oh.
Oh, sure. So I'm John Cookless, I live at 96 South Avenue. Our septic is across our driveway, it had to be, I think it was 50 feet from the house. So, it's in our front yard, and our leach fields, go up the hill a little bit. So, we had them done a few years ago. This problem would be if his is in the front, is that going to affect, like, the lady at, was it 90 said? So, that was one of my concerns. So if his septic is in the front, and ours is in the front, and his leach fields and his cisterns up there, would that have any effect on that?
It should not have an effect on your neighboring property.
Okay, I'll look into it more.
So, but we'll confirm that with the engineers.
Thank
So.
you.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to, maybe you could, I know that we saw the elevations many, many, many months ago, but it might be helpful to bring those again so that, everyone can see what the building's going to look like. And from what I remember, it doesn't feel like a big, huge multifamily apartment building, and it actually feels a bit more residential with gabled roofs and, but there's a lot you can do architecturally to kind of minimize the effects of a 4-unit building, to make it feel more, there's lots of examples in Pleasant Valley where they don't really feel like big buildings and they actually feel much smaller, and, but I can't remember exactly what the building looks like, so it might be helpful to see those again.
I'll get the elevations from the architect.
And this project has been, that's a great suggestion, Heather, and this project has been before us for so long that I think it would be good to have those, and to have those displayed so that people commenting at the public hearing can really see what it's going to look like. Also colors and materials. I know we went over those before, but that was long ago before the public hearing, and I just think it's nice for people to be able to see that. So,
Okay.
Thank you, Heather.
I'll speak with the architect.
okay. Great. Thank you. All right, we'll see you next month. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. The next item on the agenda is Conklin Architecture. This is before us for a special use permit, so just to review why this comes before us. This is a non-conforming structure, which means it's a pre-existing structure. It's non-conforming because it actually now impacts the setbacks required by our code. So it was in existence before that code, so it's allowed, but it's now falls under what is 9857, expansion of a non-conforming structure. And under 9857B, an expansion of a non-conforming structure requires us to issue a special use permit. That special use permit then throws us into site plan approval. So I'd just like to mention with all that when we have had this issue before with site plan approvals, it has been customary for us to look at the requirements of the site plan and waive most of them. We accept what comes before us just as basically a sketch plan, so that all the resource analysis and those things usually required for a site plan are not. So you can just sort of show everyone the structure and what you're doing. And before you do that, I just want to mention, it's before us because they are expanding over 50% of the equivalent of the structure, so that is requiring a variance from the ZBA. So this will go back to the ZBA after you come before us. So it's a recommendation to the ZBA, and if we follow previous precedent, we may give an approval subject to receiving that variance, so you don't have to come back.
Okay. My name's Kevin Conklin with Conklin Architecture. I am here tonight, as you know, to discuss 296 Maston Road, the Greenfield residence, and specifically 9857, the expansion of an existing non-conforming structure. I would like to go back to what you just read about the square footages. We are looking to expand the existing house by less than 50%. The number that you listed has the detached
Garage in it, okay.
added into it. So we are proposing to add 1,003 square feet of space to the existing 2,132 square feet. So we're close to 50, but we're on the good
Not
side
quite
of it.
50,
So,
okay.
so with that being said, does everybody have the plans? Everyone's had a chance to see the plans. What we have is an existing home, two-story home built in, I believe, 1916, way before zoning was a thing here in town. The existing house is roughly 16 and a half feet off the property line. Our proposed addition to the north side of the house will be set back. I believe it's, the front wall of the house will be back about 26 feet. So we're not making a bad situation worse. We're trying to set the addition back further from the existing front wall of the house. So we are further off the road, further off the property line than the current house sits today. The addition will be 800, the proposed addition is 806 square feet. There's a 197 square foot porch along the front side, the Maston Road side of that addition. That gets us to our 1,003, I think it was, square feet. So that's what we're looking to do, and I'm open to, or like to hear thoughts, questions, comments from the board.
Does anyone have any questions or comments?
I think it's a really nice design. The elevations look beautiful, and
Thank you.
I think it goes with the house really nicely. It looks like it's always been there. You know, it looks like it could have happened years ago. So
Thank you.
I don't have any issues with the design.
I did. I did not.
There was, is that on? I'll just talk about it. There was a,
That first one was going on. The first microphone was going on. The light might not go on, but it will go.
can you hear me? How about now?
I don't think it's going on.
Just speak really loud.
That's fine.
We have some comments from the fire safety review board from the meeting on. Can you not hear me?
If you want me to redo it, I won't be able to hear you. That's no problem. Thank you.
Okay. There was a meeting of the Fire and Life Safety Board, Review Board on August
and there were some comments there about the second driveway, the proposed driveway for the garage. I just wanted to know if you saw those and if you had an opportunity to
I have
review
not.
them. Okay.
But I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
We are proposing to abandon the current parking area or driveway to the south side of the house to create the new driveway to the new garage on the north side of the house. And we've made multiple attempts now, 4 attempts to get a hold of Mr. Baxter, the highway superintendent, to try to set up a meeting with him. I don't know if there's any magic to getting a hold of the guy, but he seems to be rather hard to nail down. So we're in the process of trying to do that. If there's a way to make that, we'd love to get that done as soon as we can. So
Thank you.
yes,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you.
thank you.
Yep.
So let me just clarify, you're proposing to do what they recommended was eliminating the additional driveway off Maston Road and use existing farm road?
So there's so the Greenfields have a farm. They have goats and animals, chickens, and so it's a farm. They have a farm road which is further yet to the north along the fence line. That's their access to get trailers into the back of the property. We're proposing just south of that is where the new garage is going to be added. So we're proposing to add a new gravel driveway in front of the new garage
Okay,
and abandon the current gravel driveway on the south side of the house.
okay, yeah, instead of the gravel drive, okay, great. Any comments on that? From anyone?
There was a note from the fire advisory board about the proposed, the pool. There's a proposed pool. Is there a separate application for that?
It's on the site plan right now as it's something we are hoping to leave space for this pool to happen in the future. It's not, there's no application for that at this point.
Okay.
There's fences, there's all sorts of things that need to be addressed with that. So right now it's more of a space holder than
Okay.
anything else.
Potential future pool.
Potential future pool, yes.
Okay. If there are no more comments, I'll just go through some of the comments that basically, that you are expanding the residence less than 50%, which is allowed, so that does not need a variance because it's allowed by 9857B, but it does require a special use permit. What we usually do with the special use permit in this case is simply look at this as a site plan, so we would waive the additional requirements for site plan and accept what has been submitted to us in your proposal as the site plan. As part of that, I'll note that this is seeker site type 2, so exempt. It is also a residential permit and variance, so it's exempt from 239M. And I think that we can, as part of our approval, waive a hearing for site plan and the additional site plan requirements. So as part of this, what I would suggest to the board, if everyone agrees, is that we approve the special use permit subject to the receipt of the variances, the 2 variances required. And as part of that motion, we recommend to the ZBA that they approve both the variances for the house and for the detached garage. So do I have a second for that motion? Second from Priya. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. So that grants you special use
Thank you.
permit, and you are not required to come back
To the planning board.
to the planning board. If they grant your variances, then you have your approval.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
They still have to get the driveway.
That, yeah, that's nothing to do with that. Yeah.
The driveway permit
No, that's not part of this. Yeah.
I'll get you in contact with them this week.
That'll be part of the building permit application, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have minutes on this? Okay, so no minutes approved. So I will make a motion that we close the planning board hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great, thank you.